Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. And we're here for another briefing from yours truly, Private Will. Sorry. And today I figured I would do one of the few games that I have that is sort of a war game, but I mean, you could call it not really a war game, but more of a kind of role-playing game. And it's this game here. It's in this little pouch. I usually carry them in these. And it's the Dragonlance, Dragons of Glory. Now, just to give you a bit of a history on this. It was released in 1986 by TSR, which were the holders of Dungeons and Dragons rules back in those days. And now, I don't know if you're familiar with Dungeons and Dragons, but they have a core rule, and they also have sort of a different universe, if you want, where you can set up your adventures. And obviously, Dragonlance was one of them. They started Dragonlance in 1984, and they had all of these modules, that the dungeon masters could use to create the adventures for the characters that they were taking care of. This was like volume 11. Now this one was a little different in the sense that it's sort of a, if you open it up, you're going to see it's a war game. It's got the map, you got the counters in here, but it was also, see these two counters, it was also something that you could use to go along with the role-playing modules, where you could refight or fight the battles of the Dragonland Wars as they were happening. So you could combine the role-playing along with this, but it was also created as a standalone game where you could just play it just like a regular war game, which is the reason why I originally got it back in the day. And if you look at it, you'll see it's basically what we call a sort of a Ziploc type game. It came like this. It was just like wrapped up, and you had this cardboard here, and the different player aids were here. When you look at this here, if you played war games back in those days, obviously you'll automatically recognize this combat chart here. Very, very typical of that time. And you had your dice modifiers at the bottom here, and so that's pretty much all it was on the cardboard. Then you had a very simple rule book, and as you can see, it's really not a complicated game. It's about 8 pages of rules. The end is pretty much just explanation and examples, and very easy to play. The second part here, you had a sort of a explanation of what the world of Dragonlance was about. So, and you can see the entire map here, and you had the explanation to play scenarios or a full campaign, depending on as you wish. There was a few scenarios that came along here, and it was very simple. And you had counters, just like a regular type of war game. Nothing very much different. Very simple counters. I'll show you an example of them. Like, again, very 1980s type of counters. I don't know if you can see them very well here. The light seems to be a little bit off. There's not much information, just like, swords and cavalry, and just like movement and attack points. Really, really typical of these type of games back in the day. The one thing that was kind of nice with this was the map. It showed the Willow Cream. I won't be able to fully open it up because I do not have the space anymore. It's a pretty big map. Just gonna put it sideways here. So as you can see, I haven't opened it in quite a long time. I haven't played this game for at least 35, 40 years. And the map is beautiful, by the way. Really shows up the different locations of the world of Kryn. And you basically have the same things that you had in the book. So the Hells, the Dwarfs, the Kenders, the Knights of Solamnia, they were all pretty much represented on this map. And you could sort of recreate the entire War of the Lands against the Dragon Army. And it was a basic game. It was fun, not overly complicated, and really not, shall we say, very depth-defying thing. No, definitely the typical of the time of the 80s for this type of game. But it was fun. The only reason, like I said, you could play this with the role-playing game and fight the battles that was happening in your role-playing game on this at the same time. I don't know. I'm not sure if anybody ever did that. That looks kind of bit of quite of a bit ambitious type of thing to do, but I'm pretty sure some people must have done it since it was offered, and you will have a lot of role-playing players who are really, really into this. So it's quite possible that a lot of people used it for that. I basically just played it to sort of a war game type of thing. I bought it back in 1986, and I can't remember at this point how much I paid for that. I can't remember how much these modules were worth at the time. This one was probably a little bit more expensive because of the fact that there was the counters, the map, and all that. So I don't know, 20 something probably at the time, but I can't really be sure anymore. It's been so long. But it's a fun little game to play. It brings you out of the typical war games, like tanks and muskets and cavalry and stuff like that, back on sort of a fantasy type of settings, which is interesting. It's not something that you see very often. Back in those days, there was a few type of fantasy games. I remember quite a few for the Lord of the Rings that were made by SBI, if I remember. I do not have any of those, but I kind of remember them. I think it was by SBI. There was a few War of the Rings and War Against Morgoth or something like that, which were made in the 1970s. There was a few others here and there like that were created. So, it was a time where fantasy was very popular. Conan the Barbarian movies were being made. So, I mean, these type of games were a little bit more popular, and obviously you had the Dungeon and Dragon phase of that day. Back in those days was extremely popular as well. So that's why you had a few of these games that came out. So it was a little different. Brought you away from the tanks and the typical battles of Gettysburg or Waterloo. So it was different. Now, the game itself, it's very simple, really not complicated. It's nothing groundbreaking. What if you wanted to get a copy of this? Well, I made some look at, like I said, I have almost 40 years now, but I've looked around on the internet to see what was the status of this game. Obviously it's out of print. You're not going to find it. They don't sell this anymore. So if you're going to look for a game, it's obviously going to be a used game like this one, like somebody purchased back in the day. The cheapest one I was able to find, and that was a while back, I think it was $280. I've seen it mostly at $350, $375. I even saw a copy on Punch, supposedly sealed, back from 1986 as $425, something like that. It's very expensive, and in my opinion, I mean, if you're interested, you could always go ahead and buy this game, but it's really, really not worth that price at all. It's really very simplistic game, nothing groundbreaking about it. The price is probably driven by the fact that you've got a lot of collectors maybe for Dungeons and Dragons who would like to have this game. You know, they really would like to have it in their collection because they weren't around back in the 1980s and they want to collect it. But to purchase it and for wanting to play with it and try out it, I find it's really not worth that price. It's really kind of crazy for the price that they're asking for this game. It's really not worth $200+ for this. But again, that's up to you. I mean, for me, it would depend. I mean, if I were to see a game, I did have the extra cash, and I really wanted it because I never got to play it as a kid, and it was available. I might purchase it if, like I said, if I had the cash for it at the time, and it wasn't going to cost me a arm in the leg to, you know, it's not going to cost me any other type of problem. I have the cash extra to pay for it, and then I would go for it. But in my opinion, this one at $300, I don't know. It's a bit excessive for this type of game. Very simple game, nothing groundbreaking here. But I just wanted to show it. Unfortunately, I don't think I'll ever be able to do a kind of a example of play on this because, like I said, I don't really have the room anymore for these games. The maps, it's two maps the same size. It's really huge. It takes a lot of space. Not a lot of counters. Not a very complicated game to set up, and the rules are very simple. It's just the size of those games that's the problem. For now, I don't have that the place for it. Maybe eventually. I mean, I am moving on in years, and eventually I will probably cut down on work. I'm gonna have a bit more time, and at that time maybe I'll figure out something where, you know, I'm going to be able to set things up and replace some of these older, more expanding game. But for now, unfortunately, it's just not possible. But I wanted to showcase it. I didn't see a lot of videos about this on the internet. I've seen some pages talking about it, different game site, website that were talking about it, but I didn't see a lot of videos on it. So I thought it would be fun to make a quick little video on this and showcase something back from the 80s about Dragonlance and Dungeons and Dragons. So let me know in the comment section if you remember Dragonlance, if you read the books. I didn't play the role-playing game. I wasn't really much of a role-playing type of guy, but I did read a lot of the novels that came out back in those days. They were very popular. Some were very good, others were so. It was a bit of a mixed bag of things. But let me know if you remember this game, if you remember Dragonlance, if you played it at all back in those days, if you had it and you sold it off after a while or whatever. So there you have it, Dragons of Glory by TSR. So until next time, stay safe everyone.